Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Special Thursday edition of the Prent Sports Podcast with a good buddy of mine, Nick Fiel. We are going to give you some NCAA picks, some NFL picks for the weekend to hopefully make everybody a little bit richer. Nick, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. I think this is the first week we've got Wednesday night college football going on.
Wednesday night. I didn't really realize that there was Wednesday night football until today.
It's not quite Maction season yet. Not lights, camera, Maction, but we've got ourselves some Georgia Southern football going on a Wednesday night.
With the Red Wolves, the Arkansas State Red Wolves, sneaky, put up some points.
And Georgia Southern lost to my alma mater, who's an FCS school,
So there's that.
They've got that going for them.
The UNH Wildcats dominated them in that game,
too. Handled the option very well, I will say. Watched a little bit of that game.
Who you got in the Wednesday night game? You got anything going there? We'll give you a bonus pick, folks.
Bonus pick? Off, top of the dome? So my stepdad used to work at Georgia Southern. They're getting 9.5, so might have to give them the edge there. I'll give Georgia Southern the edge. 9.5 at home is a little steep.
I'm firmly against you. Against you on the Arkansas State Red Wolves. But anyway, we're not even going to count that for our totals. That's just a bonus
about that game.
For everybody else. That's just a bonus. So
they have one win between the two of them. So
that's true. But Arkansas State did almost beat Nebraska at home. Not that that's
correct. And we'll get into Nebraska a little bit later. That's a little sneak preview for you.
Well, that's what they call a teaser in the business.
Yeah,
that's what they call that.
That's what they call it.
So let's get into it, man. NCAA football. We're each going to give two picks. I'll go ahead and get it started. I've got a big Big 12 tilt that I'm actually going to be at for College Game Day, which I am super excited about. TCU against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Pretty big line in that game for two ranked teams.
Agreed.
TCU's laying 12.5 at last check. It might have even gone up a little today.
I think it's still 12.5.
Still at 12.5. My heart wants to take the Frogs, but
your hat also says you want to take the Frogs. I'm looking at Connor wearing a TCU Horned Frogs, and he let me know that he was picking West Virginia before.
And he can't see it really well, but I've got a TCU poster on the wall.
I can see that too. This is incredible.
So I am going to take the Mountaineers. I think 2 touchdowns in a Big 12 conference game with a team that scores an awful lot of points with Will Grier at the helm. I just think that's too many. I know it's at home for TCU, and I think TCU wins the game. I don't have any worry about that. But I think 12.5 points is too much. So I'm going to take the Mountaineers. TCU's defense is better than any team the Mountaineers have played so far. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. However, the running back there, Crawford, for West Virginia, has rushed for 100 yards in every game. So that could be a tough test for the Frogs. But I've got the Mountaineers in that game.
The 12.5 is very steep for me too. I just in one of those games, but also with a team that scores a lot of points, you could definitely see that being either team being a blowout of a game. That's Big 12 shootouts can go either way. They can go shootout and be a 1-touchdown game, or they can be an absolute bloodbath blowout.
Completely agree. And I think and that's just it, I don't think this is going to be a 14-point spread. I think this is either going to be like a 7-10 maybe, or like 21.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely reasonable play to play West Virginia with how they're playing. Will Grier he's the real deal. I'll give him that. And I just think that 12.5 is a good spot to be at. 14, you might want to take you're still taking the 10 points though is where you're at though. You're getting 10 at least. That's where you can take West Virginia and probably be a safe bet.
All right.
I just don't trust. I haven't trusted a West Virginia team since
ever.
Pat White or Geno Smith were there.
Yeah.
I can't trust them in any big game. So that's why I'd probably lean towards the Frogs, especially being at home. But I can definitely see where you're coming at with the West Virginia play. And you have to play it with you being there. So.
Yeah, I can't not play that game. That's the thing. I have to.
You have to. I don't think I've ever been to a sporting event where I haven't placed a bet at.
I have, but very rarely. I went to South Carolina a couple weeks ago, drove We drove 16 hours Friday night, watched the game, turned around, and came back. We stayed one night in South Carolina, drove all the way from Plano, Texas to South Carolina. I hammered South Carolina in that game, and they lost outright to Kentucky. So
I was gonna mention to teeter-totter on that or piggyback on that. I don't think I've ever won. I very rarely win a bet if I'm at the game. It just doesn't work that way.
And it's gonna be.
It's a lot more fun. We'll give it that. It's a lot more fun.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited to experience game day and the whole thing. We're gonna get up at like 5 o'clock and start.
It is. So game day is there this Saturday.
Yep.
Oh, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
You making a sign?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go with. We're going. What do you call a West Virginia fan at a New Year's Day bowl game?
You got me there. Yeah, I was gonna say like non-existent.
Right, lost. So that's what we're gonna go with. See if we can't get on the TV. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, I will.
All right, what's your first play for this weekend? NCAA football. What do you got?
So I've got Texas Tech. We'll keep the Texas theme going. Texas Tech minus 17.5 against Kansas. I mean, Kansas being at home isn't even a factor. Do any fans show up to the games in Kansas? Who was the quarterback back when that fat fuck was working there?
Dude, I don't even know.
Todd Reesing, is that their quarterback? Was when they won, they were pretty good, but they haven't been good ever since that day.
Right. I'll give you $1 if you can tell me who their coach is.
Is it Charlie Weiss?
No, it's David Beatty.
See, I wouldn't. I don't even. They've been so irrelevant for the past 5 years that it's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't ever bet on them. And Texas Tech has been playing pretty good. They have the kid Shimanak he's a transfer from Iowa. If you're playing in the Big Ten and then you switch over to the Big 12, that's just a kid that just wants to sling the football.
Absolutely.
He sat behind Mahomes for a year, and he's just like, I don't even care. I just want to be able to sling the football at some point in my life. He's throwing it all over the place now.
The other thing, too, do you watch Last Chance U?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I watched a couple episodes. Haven't continued it.
Okay, well, first of all, get on that.
I know. I got to get on it.
But second of all, a captain on the defense, Dakota Allen, was on the last season of Last Chance U, and he's having a phenomenal season. Couple of picks. He has 30-something tackles already, and he's playing well. Not that really matters against Kansas, because they are.
You could probably put in their backups and still win by 10, but
I mean they are god
put in the starters.
And basically, you're taking my theory from the NFL, which is whoever the Browns are taking, take them. Lately, they've covered this year, but we'll get into that. But I mean, I've hammered teams that are playing against Kansas this whole year and have made money. So
at the beginning of the season, I was on the Baylor train with how bad they were at the beginning. But they played.
Then they covered.
They covered against Oklahoma the other night. So I mean, they're bouncing back. But again, Kansas, there's nothing going on in what are they, Lawrence?
Yeah, I think so. They're getting ready for basketball season over there.
Yeah, that's what they should be getting ready for.
So, I mean, that's what we've got there.
That's my pick.
My second play is going to be the SMU Mustangs. Staying with Texas, SMU Mustangs against Houston. It's at Houston. At last check, before we came on here, I believe they were getting 5.5.
Yep, that's the last I saw of them, too.
I think that they're going to win that game outright. So anytime that I think a dog's going to win outright, I'll take the points no matter how much it is. Obviously, 5.5 isn't great, but I could for sure see this game being a field goal game either way. If SMU can score, kind of like you were saying about the Big 12, where teams that score a lot of points could turn ugly, Houston can't score with SMU, but Houston's defense is better than just about any team that SMU has faced except for TCU, but SMU scored 36 against TCU.
Yeah, and I was just going to play devil's advocate there. I think definitely Houston lost to SMU last year as a 23-point favorite, 23.5, I think. So 23.5-point favorite. They lost last year, so I could definitely see a little revenge factor being at home. I know SMU isn't great on the road, but also Houston hasn't performed that well at home either. So hasn't lived up to the spread at home. So I think the only thing that concerns me about the SMU play is Houston's defense. That's the only thing that if they can, but yeah, like you said, Houston will not be able to keep up with SMU. So if they can at least put up some points, if they get to 28 points, even then I think that might be enough to get at least cover. I don't know about winning outright, but you're taking the points, so
right.
It's different.
My thought is if you can get to 30 against Houston, you're probably set.
Yeah.
And SMU's lowest point total this year was 36 against TCU. And that was at TCU. Obviously, that's a little bit of a rivalry game, being that they're so close to each other. But, that was my thought there. Houston's a decent team. It wouldn't, definitely wouldn't be one of those ones where you're shocked if Houston ends up winning by a touchdown. But I like what I see out of Chad Morris at SMU, and I'll take the points there. So
I think it's definitely smart to take the points. If it was at 2.5, you might as well just bet them out.
Right.
Bet them money line.
Agreed.
No reason to not do that. But I mean, being at 5.5, I think that's the way to go there. And also, Houston struggled again last week against Temple, who's not very good.
Terrible.
They've lost some talent there, so they've been struggling lately. So Houston's not looking great lately, but we'll see how it plays out with SMU down in Texas.
Sidebar: do you think Matt Rule regrets going to Baylor from Temple? This has nothing to do with gambling, but it's an interesting thought.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's trying to embrace it a little bit, but it doesn't seem like he's like the whole the fake Oklahoma drill, or he did like the Oklahoma drill.
Did the Oklahoma drill in pregame warm-up.
Yeah, like I think that's a little too aggressive. Like
I coach football, and we did the Oklahoma drill like twice a year. Period.
Yeah.
He's doing it in pregame warm-up.
Yeah, that's not smart. I mean, especially from a team that has a lot of question marks off the field, and I don't know. I can't imagine him regretting going from Temple, who.
I'm not saying regretting leaving Temple. I'm saying regretting that Baylor's the one that he picked, because if you remember when he.
I mean, I don't think he would regret that though. I mean, it's a Big 12 school. He's gonna get.
It's a Big 12 school that you're going to be really bad for the next 5 years.
And at the same time, though, your job security is probably going to be pretty high if you
do
not
anything
high expectations.
Right. If you win any games, I guess through the next couple of years, you're probably
it doesn't help that you get blown out by Duke though. So
well, and who'd they lose to the first week? Was it Lamar?
I don't even know.
And then they lost to UT San Antonio, the Roadrunners.
Yeah.
My boy Chaps over at Barstool is going to get on me for chirping the Roadrunners, but I mean, come on. You can't be losing at home to those.
Especially as a Big 12 school who then competes against Oklahoma.
Right.
Which means that there's talent there and they can compete, but
exactly.
Clearly not living up to it.
Anyway, got a little off topic there. Who's your number 2 NCAA pick?
Number 2 pick. So you went both dogs this week.
I did.
I'm going both favorites this week. Wisconsin. So we're getting back into the Nebraska team here. Nebraska has been very bad at home. They exceptionally bad at home. Who did they lose? They lost to Northern Illinois. Shout out to the Maction.
Yep. Hashtag Maction.
They lost. So they lost to Northern Illinois. They almost lost to. Was it Arkansas State? Yep. Was it Arkansas State? The Red Wolves.
Yep.
So they almost lost there. The only time they showed glimpses of being somewhat decent was against Oregon in the second half. And being that they came out really slow against Oregon and then had to fight their way back just to cover, doesn't bode well for them against a Wisconsin team that controls the tempo of the game, will control the ball, and will score enough points. They can definitely score points. They just honestly kind of choose not to. They'll run the ball, they'll ground and pound. Their leading receivers, their tight end, like that's Big Ten football at its finest right there. I think that 11.5 is a generous number for Wisconsin.
I do too.
In that game.
I do too. I'd love to play devil's advocate and come up with some reason that I think Nebraska can hang with them, but I can't. They're just not. They're not a good football team any way you slice it. And I think Wisconsin gets a little bit of a bad rap, I think, just because they happen to be in the weak division of the Big Ten. So people are like, okay, what are they ranked, like 9 this week? Something like that. People are like, oh my God, they're only a top 10 team because they're in the Big Ten. They don't really play anybody, yada, yada, yada. However, when they do play in big games, they compete. They win some big ones. Like I think Wisconsin's a really good program, and I think Nebraska's trending the other way. So I can't really say anything good about Nebraska at this point. So
yeah, Wisconsin's number 9. So yeah, I think they could easily be like a number 6. Like Michigan being 7, I don't really fully agree with that.
They're making a quarterback change though. They're going with O'Korn instead of Wilton Spate, who has been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Wisconsin, like you said, is pretty underrated year in and year out. I mean, basketball and football, they kind of don't get the credit they deserve.
They just grind it out, play good defense.
They just grind it out and they win ball games. It's how Wisconsin athletics work. But yeah, at the beginning of the year, I made one over-under bet for one team in college football, and it was Wisconsin. And I don't know if I'm biased on that, but over 10.5 wins, but they have a very easy schedule this year. So, and I mean, I think people anticipated Nebraska being a little bit better, but certainly helps Wisconsin's win total for the year for me, being that Nebraska's the easy opponent.
Absolutely. So that's our NCAA picks right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want some free money this weekend, take West Virginia, SMU, Texas Tech, and Wisconsin, and you're going to be thanking us come Sunday. So we're going to get into the NFL a little bit, which I don't know about you, but the NFL has absolutely kicked my ass this year.
So it's been the opposite for me. I was going to bring that up. College, the first couple of weeks I was very good. Would go like 9-1. I won 9-1 1 week.
Love that.
That's a lot, but that's the first week of the season. I'm not going to do that many plays from here on out. But so when 9-1 one day, and then it just fell off. I think I've been 1-5, 1-4 the past couple weeks. But NFL has been complete opposite now. So it's always the weekend. I pretty much even Steven with where I'm at. Saturday's not that great. Sunday's been a pretty good day for me.
I wish I could say the same. The NFL has been an absolute killer. I went 0-5 last week.
I mean, it's a crapshoot, so it's pretty tough.
But getting right into it, there's some tough games this week. I don't know if you play any survivor pools, but I'm in a survivor pool where, and obviously for those of you who don't know, you pick one team. You can only pick them once throughout the year. I have gotten really lucky the first couple weeks. I had Pittsburgh in week 1, who they beat Cleveland by 3. Then week 2, I took Arizona against Indianapolis, who they had to go to overtime to beat the Colts, who suck. Then I had the Pats week 3, who obviously needed Tom Brady to bail them out at the end against the Texans. And then last week was an easy one. I had Seattle at home against Indy. But looking at the game,
that game became a blowout in the fourth quarter. They really were the Colts leading at halftime. I think they were.
Yeah,
it was like 18-16 or something.
Yeah, it was a weird score. It was like 17-15 or
just a
13.
Blowout of a baseball game.
But ended up getting the win. But this week I'm looking through and I'm like, golly, I don't know who to take. So even when we're not talking about spreads involved, your boy is struggling a little bit with who to take. I did end up, for all of you who want to know, I took Tennessee over Miami in the survivor pool.
Interesting take.
So we'll see how that goes.
Tennessee has not played very, and it's funny. So Tennessee's defense sucks. They're horrible.
But so does
some
Miami.
guy. We were listening to like NFL. I don't know, the NFL radio on Sirius XM, and some caller called in and he said, I think this Titans team is easily a top 5 defense. I just think they just need more weeks to prove that. And the guys were literally like, what makes you think that they can be it? Like, just give me some kind of, he's just like, I don't know. I just think that they're talented. Like, he was basically saying Adoree Jackson was like the savior of that defense, which is blatantly not the truth.
No.
Far from the truth.
But
they'll let up points every week.
I don't trust Jay Cutler. He sucks. The Saints' defense is not good, and they got shut out by the Saints.
I would have not played Jay Cutler coming off a very bad week, just because Jay Cutler is so good when he's good, and he is just there's no in between. He just does not have an in between. He just doesn't have a mediocre week.
I agree. But anyway, getting into our against the spread picks, my first pick is, again, I don't know what it is, but I'm staying in Texas with Green Bay against the Cowboys here at what the locals call the Death Star. And I'm going Packers. Packers are getting 2.5 in this game, and I don't quite understand why.
Home field. I still have yet to figure it out in the NFL, but they still always give
home field. It seems like is worth 3 points to the whoever's making the lines. You know what I mean? It seems like it's always they tend to lean towards home field, which I guess I understand. But if you look at the
that's why we're sitting here though, and there's Vegas odds makers making that decision.
Isn't it amazing how good they are? Like
it blows my mind how amazing they are.
Like I've lost multiple bets this year by half a point.
Here's a good example. I do a weekly pick, and the tiebreaker is choosing the score of. You have to choose the individual score of the Monday Night Football game.
Yep.
So I think I'm at a total of 13 points differential, which is crazy if you think about it. We're through 4 weeks. That's the difference between each team, what their difference in their score is. So a total of 13 between how many games is that? That's 8 teams in their point total at the end of the day. And I've basically just been going off of Vegas and what they think that the score will be.
Yep. So
it's just crazy. I'm easily number one in the whole 50-man pool just based off that.
It's just I mean, obviously there's a lot of factors that go into it, and like you said, there's a reason we're sitting here in our apartments recording a podcast, and they're raking in hundreds of, probably thousands of dollars in Vegas. But I mean, I've lost some over-unders this year by half a point. I've lost some totals by half a point.
Don't even go into the Chiefs game the other night.
Oh, trust me, I had Redskins +7 as well as the under.
Wow. See, I was completely against that. I was like, I'm taking the over. Right when I saw under 50, I was like, I like both these teams to score some points, and boy, did I get lucky.
Yes, you did. And I got unlucky, but that's just the way it's been for me this year.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, I'm going with the Packers +2.5. I will very rarely bet against Aaron Rodgers, especially when he plays against a defense that is less than stellar in the back half. Their secondary, Cowboys secondary is very athletic, but they're very young. Their pass rush has been good. DeMarcus Lawrence leads the league in sacks and quarterback hits. And the Packers' offensive line is a little bit banged up. They should be more healthy come game time. But I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers. I think they're going to win that game outright. And so I'll kind of like the SMU game, I'll take the points. I think it'll be close just because it's at home. But give me the Packers +2.5.
Is Devontae Adams playing in that game?
They think so. They're not sure yet.
I mean, that was the cheapest hit I've ever seen.
Wasn't
just an absolute defenseless receiver there.
Did you see his suspension? Trevathan's suspension got reduced to 1 game.
To 1 game. I can see that though. I mean, I can see how he kind of lowered his head and wasn't intentionally doing it, but still.
I would have given
that guy was stood up. He wasn't going anywhere.
I would have given him 4 games to start and then reduced it to 2.
And then reduced it to 2. Yeah. But yeah, I can see that too. I mean, Dallas has been. I mean, they've won the games that they were supposed to win thus far, and but I definitely can see how Aaron Rodgers can just go in there and take over the game. I mean, anytime there's 2 big time teams like that, it's usually a close game. Two big time franchises, it's typically a close game. It's kind of how the NFC East works, but I know obviously Green Bay and the NFC North, but yeah, I think that's going to be a close game, and I can easily see how the Packers went out right there. That's an easy play. You can go either way, but the Packers, I think I would take them over the Cowboys.
I might even, like I said, take them money line. We'll see how
it might even be worth it at that with the 2.5. Like, what's the point? I mean, very rarely does a team win by 1 point in the NFL.
Yep. So that's what I've got. Who do you got?
So my first play is the Steelers -8.5. I'd love to jag off and go with the Jags, but I faith in them losing to the Jets last week, and
goddamn Jets.
The goddamn Jets. And I think seeing Le'Veon Bell actually explode one week is a lot of confidence in that whole offense. And I think it hasn't really been seen yet until last week, and I think they'll capitalize. I mean, they're at home too. Jacksonville was on the road last week, correct? Or were they at home?
They were on the road.
They were on the road, yeah. So, I mean, I think the Steelers being at home definitely plays a little bit into that. Maybe that 1.5 point for the touchdown plus the 1.5 points. So I think that's the difference maker. And I mean, they handled. Who did the Steelers play last week? They played Baltimore.
Yep.
Yeah, they handled Baltimore pretty handily. Actually, both teams have handled Baltimore pretty easily.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. But I mean, Jacksonville playing in London is a magical thing. They're the London Jaguars. They're gonna be great in London for however long they decide to keep up this NFL London thing.
I don't hate that pick. I do think that 8.5's a lot.
I do too. I mean, at first glimpse, when I saw that, I said, "No, that's not really true." But Jacksonville just, I feel like Pittsburgh's one of those defenses that's a risk-taking defense, and against a team like a guy like Blake Bortles, you're probably going to get more out of that risk than not.
Yeah, like I said, I'm the only thing that concerns me is how big of a spread that is. A touchdown's a lot in the NFL.
I mean, you saw it last week too with Seattle, 13.5,
yep,
and they blew them out. So
True. But I wouldn't. Let's put it this way: I probably wouldn't put my money behind Jacksonville, but I'm just playing devil's advocate that that's just a little bit of a big spread there, especially because the Steelers haven't been like lighting it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't mind that play at all.
Who you got next? Speaking of the Colts getting blown out, let's see who you got.
I got the Colts. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, tell me why, because I've got a completely different take on it.
All right, that's fair. Well, I'll tell you why. 2 words for you: Jacoby Brissett.
It's big on Jacoby Brissett.
I'm a big Jacoby Brissett guy. I think I'm obviously not like a huge Jacoby Brissett guy, but I will say that he is a lot better than people think he is. And I think that they should bench Andrew Luck and let him play.
Wow. That's a hot take. That is a hot take.
I don't really think that, just so we're all clear. But anyway, the 49ers, I think, are going in the right direction with John Lynch as the GM, with Kyle Shanahan as the coach. But the problem is you've got Brian freaking Hoyer playing quarterback, and he sucks. And they don't have – their defense isn't good enough yet to carry Brian Hoyer. And I understand that Indianapolis isn't some sort of juggernaut, but at home, the score last week was a little bit deceiving. That game was close until late, and I just don't believe in the Niners. So give me the Colts -1.5.
So I actually take back what I said about completely disagreeing with you. I just think you should not play this game whatsoever.
That's probably fair.
I don't like – this is not a big enough spread for me to favor one team, and I say completely stay away from it. I think it's the battle of the Brady backups.
And Jacoby Brissett's better, though. Can we agree on
how
that?
many Brady backups are there starting in the NFL right now? Is it just those 2?
Yeah, I think so. Because Matt Castle's not starting.
Matt Castle's gone, and who was the other one? Ryan Mallett. He's not playing for anyone. No. So yeah, these are the 2 Brady backups. I think Brissett's obviously the better of the 2. What's his name? Mack for Indianapolis, I think is probably going to get a little bit more touches as the season goes on behind Frank Gore.
Yep.
But Frank Gore continues to grind, man. That guy.
He's like 1,000 years old, and he just gets.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop.
That's because he went to the U, and it's all about the U. In case you.
It's all about the U. And just goes to show that the Wonderlic score does not mean anything in the NFL.
Absolutely, unless you're Vince Young. What did Vince Young get? Like a 6 or something?
Yeah. So I think him and Frank Gore had the same, like the lowest. Morris Claiborne actually had a 4, I think. So going back to that Dallas defense,
Brutal.
Could get lit up this week. But yeah, I think this is a game. I mean, San Fran has played a couple games close past couple weeks. They played Arizona really tough last week, and they also played the Rams, who have been surprisingly really good. They played them tough, even though they got off to a really bad start.
Yep.
So,
who's your second pick?
My second pick is the Chargers plus 3.5. I don't know if that line is still at 3.5. I
believe it is.
I looked at that the other day. Either way, if they're getting 3.5, the Chargers don't lose very many games by 3.5 points. They don't.
By 1 or 2.
They just lose. They'll lose by 3. I mean, I could probably bet on them to lose by 3 every single game, but they're not going to lose by 3.5. I think they've only. I looked at it. They have 4 losses this year. All 3 have been less than, or 3 of the 4 have been less than 3 points. 3 points or less. So the Giants suck.
True.
It's very refreshing to hear that.
You can't spell elite without Eli, though.
Yeah. I mean, I just I don't think that this is the Giants' year. A lot of people did think it was, but clearly it's not. The offense just isn't clicking the way that everyone would hope. And
do they know that they have Brandon Marshall? Do they know he's on the team?
I don't think so. What has he got? Like 1 reception each game?
It's been really bad. He's on my fantasy team, and I hate that.
But yeah, that's. I mean, they do have a couple guys that are younger, but Sterling Shepard is I think is going to be good. I think they don't have an O line. I don't think they protect Eli, and Eli won't stand there. Just that that 1 second longer. He'll just. What was that other game? The Monday they played Monday night or Sunday night. He literally just flopped. He didn't even nobody touched him. He just fell.
Yep.
He just decided to fall. Just took himself down.
So that's what we've got.
So I think that the Chargers will finally. I think they might win outright. I just think it's a lot safer to play
with
the points. There's no reason to not take them they're plus 3.5.
So that's what we've got this week. We've got Chargers, Colts, Packers, and the Steelers.
So you should take Connor's college picks and my NFL picks.
Absolutely, because my
we'll
NFL
probably
picks,
be good to go.
My NFL picks are atrocious. So definitely, whatever I say, don't do that for sure.
Go the opposite. I honestly thought about going. It's like the Costanza Seinfeld episode where it's the opposite. One of the better episodes out there. Just as the opposite of everything. Opposite of everything he ever does. And it turns out correct.
Yes.
It's like that's what you could do in the NFL. Whatever you think is going to happen, just go the opposite, and you'll probably be right.
Absolutely. So there it is, week 1 of our picks. We've got to come up with some sort of clever name for us, but we can't just have it be Nick and Connor's picks. That's trash. So we've got to work on that. But anyway, that's week 1. We're going to be bringing this to you every Thursday, and. That's what it is. So look out for it, and you'll make.
Look out for Connor's game day sign. I'll be looking out for it.
Look, it's going to be great. I might even paint myself purple. Just really get into it. Go Frogs! I'm a big Frogs guy. I'm betting on West Virginia.
Betting against the Frogs, but I'm going to be painting myself purple that day.
Big Frogs guy, but I just need them to win by 12. They don't need to win by 13.
It's not the Hamburglar. Who's the other? Purple guy, the McDonald's guy.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The mascots, the McDonald's mascots.
No, I know Ronald McDonald.
It's not the Hamburglar, but purple McDonald's guy.
All right, well we're getting off track. But that's what we've got for this week. So Grimace. I do know who that is. All right, that's my bad. But so that's what we've got for you this week. Be on the lookout for this every Thursday. We'll come up with some sort of clever name, and we'll do this every Thursday for you. So appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you next week.